very intelligent. I'm
very stupid, I know.
Well, you're not smart.
Well.
But someone with your looks doesn't have to be smart.
It's hot out here. Let's do it.
Welcome into Mikey's Boardroom. I'm Mikey.
I'm Krista.
And we're going to do a review of Ark Nova. Ark Nova. So this is going to be primarily a 2-player review. I don't see much changing in player count, but you can let me know if I'm wrong. But we're going to, first, let's jump into how to play. And then we'll talk about things we like, didn't like, and then we'll score it. And so without further ado, my favorite saying, let's talk about how to play Ark Nova.
I thought your favorite saying was, I need a shot.
Here's how you play. Do you love bears and lions? Maybe you just want to be like Matt Damon that one time he bought a zoo. Well, in Ark Nova, players are given the opportunity to build their own zoo. You're given a blank map on which you build enclosures, and animals in the form of cards are played into those enclosures. The game revolves around 5 separate actions which allow you to build enclosures, draw new cards, play animal cards, play sponsor cards, and finally the association action which allows you to send a worker and gain the associated bonus. Above the action cards, the spots are numbered 1 to 5, and your actions get stronger the further along the row they move. Let's cover the different actions and show how I might play an animal into my zoo. Let's say I have this sweet Gould's monitor. It requires an enclosure of at least size 3, and it will cost $15 to play. Playing this into my zoo will give me a reptile icon and an Australia icon. Animals also increase your zoo appeal by the numbers shown, and usually they have an effect that is resolved once they're added to your zoo. First, I need to build an enclosure for my lizard, so I'll use my build action. Since I need a size 3 enclosure, my build action must be in or above the 3 spot. I then grab the enclosure and place it in my zoo, placing it adjacent to one of my other enclosures and being sure to take any bonuses that I cover and paying the money cost for the enclosure. In this case, I would get $4 for placing it, and this size 3 enclosure would cost $6. Once I've completed that action, I rotate that card to the level 1 spot and shift the others up, making them more powerful. Then once it's my turn again, I would use my animal action to play the monitor from my hand into my newly placed enclosure. Flip the enclosure to fill it and pay the animal's cost. This animal raises my zoo appeal by 6 spots. Let's talk about the other 3 available actions. The cards action simply lets you draw from the deck and sometimes from the exposed cards laying on the board. The sponsor action allows you to play a sponsor card from your hand. Sponsor cards give various bonuses. This one gives me the immediate reward of placing an aquarium tile into my zoo, an ongoing bonus each time I play water animals, and the brown area is for endgame scoring. This sponsor card requires my zoo reputation to be at least level 3, and when I place the aquarium tile in my zoo, it must be adjacent to 2 water spaces. The number in the top left signifies the power level needed when using your sponsor card. This sponsor card requires an action level of 5. Since my sponsor card is in spot 4, I must use an X token to play the aquarium. X tokens increase the power level of your action by 1 for each X token used. I add the sponsor card to my tableau and place the special enclosure in my zoo, being sure to place it next to 2 water spots and in any orientation I choose. Instead of playing a sponsor card from your hand, the sponsor action also gives you a way to gain some extra money, where X is the spot number the action was used in. Lastly, the association action lets you take your zoo worker and send them to a spot that gives you a number of bonuses. This is the association board, and let's talk about the different rewards you can obtain here depending on what action slot your card was used in. Spot 2 gives your zoo 2 reputation. Higher reputation gives you access to more cards and also gives you bonuses as you level it up. Spot 3 lets you make a zoo partnership with a zoo from another continent. Take that tile and add it to your player board, being sure to take any reward that you cover. In this instance, I would be able to upgrade one of my action cards to level 2. The 4th spot gives you a university tile, which rewards you with the bonuses shown on the tile. Research symbols for your zoo, reputation, or increasing your hand size limit. Add the token to your player board. Finally, at level 5, you're able to contribute to a conservation effort, which gives your zoo conservation points. Take this middle card, for example. This one requires Africa's symbols in your zoo through African animals, various sponsor cards, or a zoo partnership with the African continent. Let's say my zoo has 2 Africa icons. I take a cube from my player board and gain the bonus shown. Purple bonuses are rewarded immediately and at the end of a round, and yellow bonuses are taken immediately and only once. In this case, I would get $12. I would then add that cube to the card and gain the conservation points shown. This will unlock another bonus for me, and that's part of what makes this game so fun. Some actions require you to move the break token along its track, and when it reaches the end, that signifies the end of the round or the break. Players gain income depending upon the appeal level of their zoo, and the bottom 2 cards in the main board are discarded and 2 new cards added from the deck. The break token goes back to the starting position depending on your player count, and play continues. There are a plethora of special encounters as well as goal cards that give you something to work towards. The game ends when one player's zoo appeal and zoo conservation score overlap. Alright, so that's a very brief overview of how you play Ark Nova. So let's jump into things we liked, and then we'll talk about things we didn't like, and then we'll score it. So do you have anything you want to say about the game, or like a thing, something you liked about the game? Just anything at all. I've been doing all the talking.
It's because you like to talk.
Stop sitting there and staring into space like some brain-dead gazelle. Was that a lion? That's nothing.
That's exactly what I look like. You go first.
Okay. So the first thing that I want to say I like is the theme. I like the whole zoo theme. I played a lot of Zoo Tycoon as a kid. Okay. I don't know if you ever played Zoo Tycoon.
I did, yeah. Twice, and I was over it.
I love.
But I liked Roller Coaster, or you made your own roller coaster.
Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Yeah, that one.
That was a good one too. But yeah, I played a lot of Zoo Tycoon as well. I played more Roller Coaster Tycoon for sure. Yeah. But Zoo Tycoon, I played a lot of cheat codes to get you dinosaurs and stuff like that. I never did that.
I just played by the rules.
I love Zoo.
But I did learn how to cheat in Sims.
That's the difference.
I did learn that.
You know what I learned how to do in Sims is build a pool, and the sim gets in the pool, and then you delete the ladder, and you watch him drown.
That's so horrible. I would not have married you had I known that.
or they set the house on fire. Then you take away the doors and you remove the phones. They can't call 911.
What is wrong with you? That's horrible. I would feel guilty if I accidentally got them stuck in a corner and I would cry about it.
Sims was fun.
Apparently. You're a psychopath.
Sims was so good. I should play Sims again.
Yeah, no, don't please.
I love Zoo Tycoon, I think is what we were talking about. I love Zoo Tycoon. And so the theme of building a zoo really speaks to me because nostalgia, and then also because we're from San Diego and we got the San Diego Zoo and the Wild Animal Park. The zoos here are world class zoos.
So whenever we're at the zoo, you're like, I would like to own a zoo.
Yes.
Whenever we're there, you always think that?
Yes. 100%. I'm like, man.
I'm glad I don't know
when I was younger, every time I went to the zoo, I was thinking I will work here someday. I'm gonna work
funny.
with these animals.
You're gonna be those old volunteer people, talking to people that don't want to hear from you.
Come back. Yeah. You want to hear about this rat?
You're 100 feet away and you hear somebody calling and you look and see old people do you need help?
Do you need help?
Did you know this about elephants?
We have a giant African rat it's 6 feet long.
Or the best, we used to have this.
Yeah, exactly.
6 years ago.
It's out in Indianapolis now, but you would have loved it.
We anyways,
yeah. I love the zoo. Anything you want to say?
Anyways, about the zoo?
I love the zoo theme. Do you like the zoo
one
theme? Of my favorite themes. I like animals.
I like how it has real photographs of the animals. These lions just look ballin'.
This is one instance where the game uses real photos on the artwork and it works out. Usually that is very I find it it's not good usually in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Here it kind of works.
I like it.
Here it works really well. But yeah, the theme is excellent.
That's all right.
Anything you if you like the zoo theme, that's gonna speak
I like the
to
theme, but I don't know. I'm not all on that hot level.
Yeah, I'm on another level with the zoo theme for some reason.
Yeah, and the murdering Sims and enjoying it. You moved your ears.
do you have anything you want to say before I move to the next one?
Nope.
Okay. I like how much strategy there is in this game. Like, this isn't a light game. I wouldn't say it's super heavy. It's sort of middle of the road.
It's a little bit more than middle.
Maybe
of the road.
middle. It's
Mid-high.
not. It's not.
Mid-high.
It's not complicated. It's just that there's a lot of things happening. Like, there's a lot going on. So it's a little. What? What's that face for?
It's a little complicated.
It is?
Yeah, a little bit. I wouldn't say it's like massively complicated, but it's a little complicated and it's hard to like get the hang of it. Like it took me a couple playthroughs for me to like really.
I believe that it did.
You know, I'm a lot better than you at some things, and you're a lot better than me at some things.
I'm better than you in the things that matter.
That's not true.
It's,
even in the slightest. If it wasn't for me, you would not even be a functioning human. You don't know how to do anything.
If it wasn't for you, I would.
I even check our oil. I take the car in to get it fixed.
If it wasn't for you, I would have learned how to do all that stuff. And
your mommy would be
You're the
taking
reason
care
I'm
of you.
not a functioning human because you do it all for me. I just sit back and play games. No, none of the elements of this game are like super complicated that you can't grasp it, but there is a lot happening. Like there's
I didn't say you can't grasp it. I said it's a bit complicated.
Yeah, it's not complicated. It's just there's a lot happening.
I feel complicated. Isn't that Avril Lavigne or something like that?
If it is, I don't know. That would explain why I don't know that song.
Oh my gosh! I'm gonna play it for you when we go inside. Alexa, complicated.
I know one Avril Lavigne song. You know what it is?
Which one is it? Skater Boy.
Skater Boy,
okay.
Yeah.
I love it. I would just sit in my room listening to Avril Lavigne for hours. I would cry and get really into it. I loved it.
I almost said she was a skater boy, which is very modern. Okay.
It's kind of complicated. I am not super into strategy games. Like, I feel like it takes a lot of my focus, and I just don't have that because I have a running list of other things to do in my life.
Here we go. Here we go.
No, I'm just kidding. So if you're not great...
As a mother, this game is too much.
Yes. No, just as somebody who's not super great with strategy games, and doesn't really enjoy strategy games...
That might be true.
It's a little bit much. Like, just like a smidge too much, I'd say.
Okay, I'll say this. There's a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
I would rate this just above, like, medium.
That's what I was saying. Like, not quite in the middle.
But that being said, it all is like linked and flows and works together very well. Very well. Like you have to unlock, like there's certain things like actions you have to upgrade in order to do certain things on the board, and you're not going to be able to upgrade all your actions. So you have to kind of choose what you want to put your effort towards in the game. So it's all linked very well. It works very well.
That's my point, is you have to really be paying attention to so many different things at once.
There's a lot going on.
Because if you accidentally choose this over here, then you can't upgrade this over here.
I think,
and it kind of like all just, I don't know.
Like I said, I think this is slightly above like a medium weight game. Yeah. It's slightly more complex than middle of the road, but it's not like it's not.
Yes, we agree. Okay, move on.
Another thing I like is the action system, where you have the 5 different actions you can take. When you take it, it goes down in value, and as you increase, all the cards rotate upwards, and they get more and more powerful. I like that system. It's fun trying to manipulate it in a way that's going to benefit you, and sometimes you get stuck in a spot where you're like you only have actions you don't want to take. So I like that there's a way out of that where you can gain those X tokens and stuff like that. I just like the action system. It's fun. It's constantly like you're having to think about it.
I agree with that. And I actually think it helps it not be so complicated because it kind of like keeps it in a rhythm.
Funnels it. It funnels it.
Exactly.
There's a lot going on, but it all funnels into this action system.
So I think that does help with
the action system works really well. I don't know if I'm sure there's other games that use this action system, but this is the first that we've played that uses this action system where they get more and more powerful as you use other different ones.
Agreed.
I like that there's no round limit. It's not 4 rounds or 5 rounds. I like that it's just the game ends when you score. You have 2 different score tracks in the game. Your appeal of the appeal of your zoo, and then how much you're conserving the environment. And when those overlap, that's when the game kind of ends. I like that. There is a downside to that, which I'll address later. I do like that you don't feel constrained by rounds. It's not like you have 5 rounds to build your zoo and then nothing happens. I like that you're able to, the game lets you build your zoo how you want it. So I do like that aspect of it. No comment?
Well, it's one of my cons. So
okay.
I don't know if
okay, we'll save it. We're in pros right now.
Exactly.
Okay.
There is no pro to that aspect.
Okay. I like the tile placement part of the game. when you're building your zoo, you pay for the enclosures, which are grids or hexagons, which the zoo or the the enclosures are 1 up to 5 spots, and your zoo is only a limited amount of space, so you're placing your enclosures on your little grid, and you have to make space for it. There's lakes, there's rocks you can't place in. Certain animals need to be next to those lakes and rocks. So I like the tile placement. It adds another level, another separate little kind of like strategy, little separate thing that you have to work on. Rather than just building your zoo, rather than just those 5 actions, you also have to fit those enclosures in your zoo, put them next to the areas that the animals need them, and then on top of that, cover up those bonus actions to unlock things. I like the tile placement in this game. No comment?
I think it adds a puzzle element, which I enjoy because I like puzzles.
Yeah.
So I do like doing that. I'm trying to fill up my whole board and stuff. But I hold a con in regards to this as well.
Save it.
So, yep.
I like also that the maps, you have asymmetric maps with different abilities. So like one of the abilities, you get extra points for building around this fat lake that's in the middle. The other map doesn't even have that lake. It's got something else entirely. It's got a pavilion or something that you get extra points for building around, or extra income, I should say. So I like that there's asymmetric maps. They're all different, but they all offer, they all seem balanced in that even though some give you upgrades for different things or some give you points for different things, neither one seems necessarily better.
Yeah, that's one I didn't really pay any attention to, so that's all you. It's a map.
There's a lot of different maps. Well, not a lot, but it comes with a fair amount of maps, and each map kind of has a different thing going for it.
I did notice that this one in front of you in particular really screwed me over. That one was a sucky map.
That's not what screwed you over. And we'll get to that later, because that's a con of mine, what screwed you over. The last 2 times we played this, it screwed you over big time. Yeah. I like that the break system kind of adds a little bit of a take that aspect. This game is mostly solo multiplayer, where in that everybody's kind of like, it's a multiplayer game up to 4 players, but you're kind of focused on your zoo and your actions. There's not much interaction with other players. The break tokens adds a little bit of it because that signifies the end of the round, where people have to discard up their hand limit. They have to discard cards on the action row or on the card row. It adds a little bit where sometimes you would take an action that would cause a break, and then I was like really hoping that the break would happen in 2 or 3 more turns, or vice versa. I remember causing a break and you go, gosh darn you.
Yeah,
you're upset about it. So I like that the break system adds a little bit of interaction where there's not a lot of player interaction in this game.
Okay. I didn't really notice how it makes player interaction, but that's fine. I don't know all the board game lingo.
Well, there's no lingo. I mean, there is lingo, but
how are we interacting?
Because
I get money.
Because
I don't care.
this is mine and that's yours, but this is communal. Like, if you buy this panda, I don't get that panda. If you cause a break and I have 6 cards in my hand that I'm really wanting to save or really wanting to play one before the break happens, you just cause that break and I have to discard a card or 4 cards. So it adds a little bit. It adds a little bit of player interaction in a game that's not focused on player interaction.
Yeah, I didn't see it that way before, but I get what you're saying now.
So I am right, is what you're saying.
Yes, sir.
I have.
I almost said yes, Daddy.
Let me stop this. I have one more pro before we move on to cons. So do you have anything you want to add?
I'm thinking really hard.
You're good.
I'm thinking really hard.
We don't plan these.
Thinking really, really hard. I thought this was kind of fun over here. Once I figured out how to do this stuff, that added another fun little thing to me.
The end game scoring.
This stuff. I thought because
not end game scoring.
Yeah, once I figured out how to work this, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, contributing to different conservation elements. Yeah. I did like that too. I liked releasing animals too. When you release, like there's some conservation cards that have you release like a 4 or 5 enclosure animal, and so you actually take that card out of your deck, you empty that enclosure, you release your appeal points for that animal gave you, but you get a bunch of conservation points, which obviously they do more than appeal points. So I did like that too.
I like this.
I didn't think about that one, but yeah, I did like that too. I liked how the 2 points crossed and how each one, like, they made sense. You play a lion, it's going to give you a lot of appeal. Like, people want to come to your zoo to see the lion. If you release that lion into the wild, it gives you a lot of conservation points because you're setting a lion free. So I like that. You're right. Okay, cons. Do you have a con you want to say before I say it?
Yes.
Okay, take it away. This is what you've been itching for. This is what you've been itching for.
This one's a little bit nitpicky, but I freaking cannot stand this board.
Yes.
And how they constantly move. It's so irritating.
That is a con.
It's so frustrating.
Because first you place the enclosure on one side, which signifies that it's empty. And then when you play an animal that fills that enclosure, you flip it. So if you have your zoo stacked out and you're flipping one that's in the middle, or if you release the animal, you have to flip it back over and you're flipping the one that's in the middle. If you like, it's like Operation. It's another game within this game. If you budget it all, everything goes everywhere and it just messes up your whole grid and your whole zoo. Like, this isn't a con for me, so I'll talk about it later. But yes, agreed. I agree with that completely. The like these mats on Etsy and stuff, for as cheap as like $5, you can buy these overlays that you put on top of it that kind of hold all the tiles in place.
Oh, really?
Which would make it a lot better. Okay. If you liked
cool.
this game a lot more, I would just buy that. But I know that you don't really like this game, so I'm not going to spend the extra money. But that would make it a lot better. If you love this game, get an overlay for your little mat.
I agree with that. If you like this game, get it.
That is a necessity.
So
that is a deluxification that is required.
Yeah,
in my
if
opinion.
I like this game, it'd be in the mail
exactly.
right now.
Okay, one of my cons is there's too many cards. There's too many cards. This is sort of a double-edged sword because there's plenty of options on how you want to build your zoo. Animals, birds, reptiles, predators, bears. Like, there's a lot of ways you can build out your zoo. But
it's just too much.
The con outweighs the pro because sometimes you get in this rut where you just have nothing you can play, and that's what got you the last two times.
It was horrible.
That's what got you, and it completely screwed you over because I was completely fine. I was playing all this stuff, and that was how you were the first two games we played.
And you were drawing.
And I was drawing nothing. So I think we got unlucky. I don't think it's something that is going to happen every game. Yeah. But the last 4 or 5 games we played, it was happening to one of us every single time. And it's just, there's too many cards. Yeah. In that there's too many options and just too much. It would flow a little bit better if there wasn't this ginormous stack of cards.
I agree. Because we maybe got through 50 of them.
Yeah, at 4-player you probably start getting down to it, but at 2-player we probably hit half once. Yeah. I like all the different options. I like that there's bears and reptiles and petting zoo animals
but there is such a thing as too much.
Exactly. I think it just crosses that line of too much where that it can actually mess you up and that what you're drawing, you'll use a level 5 action to draw, up to 4 cards and you're ready. You're like, I'm going to get this thing moving. I have all these enclosures that I want to fill. You draw all those cards and it's all stuff you can't use. It's maybe 4 of them aren't even animals. So I think it's a detriment to it that's might be my biggest con is that you can get stuck in a rut of not getting what you need. And the other person's just like, I got jaguar, lion, Komodo dragon. Like I'm making the greatest zoo ever and their board is filled out and you have like 7, you have like 7 built enclosures. 3 of them are filled and you have nothing else to do. So that's my biggest con is there's too many cards that I feel like it needs to be refined down a little bit.
I agree.
They need to have like the 4-player cards that you take out when it's just 2 players or 3 players or whatever.
Concur.
So a little bit of a pro, but mostly a negative. I also don't like that this game it doesn't end when it should. It drags on. There's there's 15.
And I can tell you why. It's because of the stupid meeting of the 2 pieces that he was a pro for you. No, so that is a con for me. I hate that. I want there to be an allotted amount of rounds.
Okay, my response to that, I like how there's no allotted rounds because then you're not... No, let me finish. You're not put into a box where you have to finish your zoo and then the game ends because you hit round 5 and your zoo sucks. The way the conservation points work, they just need to group a little bit more of the attraction points. So like how it starts on where each one conservation point is worth 2, it just needs to be straight 3 everywhere so that once you start getting those conservation points, you march down that board real fast, you meet up with your zoo and the game ends in a timely manner. There's 15 to 30 minutes worth of game where everybody's done. We're done playing. The last 15 to 30 minutes of the game, I'm like, okay, my zoo's built out. I'm discarding more than I'm playing. I'm just kind of trying to get those conservation points.
It just feels like fluff.
It needs to be a little bit, those conservation points need to build a little bit earlier, in my opinion, so that the game ends a little bit sooner, because it just overstays its welcome like a tiny bit.
I'll give you that. Then maybe if that moved faster, it might work. With the
I think what would be terrible is if you're working on it, if we're both working on a zoo and then round 6 happens and we both don't really complete our zoo very well.
So then you don't complete your zoo. It's just a game.
It's just that's a terrible argument, because yes,
not if you've got my mentality.
The real world sucks, and this is just a game. But like speaking just to the game, like it would be a bummer if nobody got to really have the zoo they wanted.
But think about all the other games we play with those allotted amount of rounds, and you don't get to finish it, and you're like, oh well. It is what it is.
I guess they could have done this if they had the right amount of rounds. Yeah. But the way it works, it overstays its welcome. I think the conservation points need to give you a little bit more at the beginning rather than just 2.
I'd say one of those, allotted rounds or...
The game just needs to end about 20 minutes earlier than it does.
More like right after you start.
Do you have any other cons?
Oh my gosh, let me see. I've got loads.
Let me say my last con. Okay. And then you can just...
I don't have loads. Okay. It was a joke. But.
How much I love this theme. The theme completely dies out once you play the animal to your zoo. It just becomes... Once you get that enclosure down and you play the animal, I played my grizzly bear. Like, once you play the card down, it's just a tableau. You have just a standard tableau over here that basically the animals almost do nothing. They give you some icons that you might need for playing other animals, but the animals basically do nothing after that. The sponsor cards can give you continual benefits, but like it's just playing the animals into your zoo turns it into just a tableau builder. Basically, you're just building your tableau of animals or sponsors in your zoo. So I love the theme. I kind of wish it was integrated even more than just building it into a tableau. Do you have anything to say about that?
No.
I wish there was a little bit of upkeep on your enclosures. I wish you had to hire workers, or like I have a level 4 enclosure that houses bears. I need to make sure those bears are fed and cared for. There's veterinary bills. Oh no,
so you want like a Tamagotchi?
It would change this game. As far as the theme goes, that's what I want. I want to take care of those animals. I want to take care of my park. I want to make sure my park is... That's what I loved about Zoo Tycoon, is that you had to build food stands and food courts and stuff like that. I want more of that in this game and less of just the Euro elements, which I love Euro games, but I kind of wanted more of the upkeep of the zoo. So, yeah.
Yeah. There's just so much that it makes it boring.
Yeah, it's a slightly it tinges on boring. It really does.
Just so much.
It really does. It really does falter that line of fun and interesting, engaging, and boring. There are moments where I'm like I'm kind of done with this right now.
Yeah,
and it's right in the middle of it. You know what I mean? Like I have moments where I'm like, this game is freaking sweet, and then I have moments where I'm like, this is sort of like a drag.
I had high hopes for this the first time you broke it up and we were playing it. I was like, okay, I can see why this would be fun, and then I quickly realized how terrible
she makes up her choice fast, and she does not change her mind. Let me tell you that she's stubborn like a mule.
Stubborn. I'm just bright, and I know what I like, and I know what's good.
Let me say this: she's stubborn like a mule, and 85% of the time she's right.
More like 93% of the time I'm right. Yeah.
You should be saying 100% of the time. So the fact that you're not saying 100% means it's about 85.
No, it's about 93%. You can have the other
like
7.
I said, stubborn as a mule.
You literally say you're always right. I should just listen to you the first time.
Sometimes I say that. About 93% of the time I say that. So this is one of the times where it's not like that. Okay. Do you have anything else you want to say?
I don't think so.
Another just a secondary thought on this game is the production value is a little bit low. Your zoos are just paper; they're cardstock paper. A lot of the stuff is cubes. No component feels very nice. The cards are not particularly nice. Nothing feels exceptionally nice. And I think I paid $75 for this.
This doesn't feel like
there's $75. Not like there's a lot. There's a lot of pieces, a lot of tokens, but.
Yeah.
I do know like higher quality games that I've gotten for $75 that have just as much components.
You're paying for the cards.
So I don't know. Well, it can't be. Cards are so cheap. There's no way. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say they're like it's too expensive of a game. But
I would not pay $75.
But
for this.
I can see paying $75.
I'd pay like maybe $40, $45.
Let me see. This is a fun game that some people will love, and in that aspect, and some people would love to play on a weekly or monthly basis. from that viewpoint, it's worth the money. But the production quality is a little bit low, and it is an expensive game. That's all I'll say. I don't want to comment more on that.
Why? Do people get in trouble for commenting on that stuff?
No, I just personally don't want to.
Oh my gosh, you seemed like you were going to get in trouble.
Okay, so let's score it. I'm going to score it first, because I know you're going to give it a bad score. Okay. So I'm going to score it first. Okay. Score it, talk about what that score means to you. Okay. I'm giving this a 3. To me,
I'm really surprised.
To me, it's a good game.
I thought you were going to give it higher.
To me, it's a good game, and I like it. I don't feel the need to play this unless somebody else asked for it. Like, if somebody said, I want to play Ark Nova, I'm down. I'm always down to play it. But I don't feel
the last 20 minutes?
Yeah. I don't feel the need to particularly grab this off the shelf over something else. And I just, it's a 3. Like, it's not great. The cons, there's a lot of cons there. And I would never, like, there's other games I would ask to play over this.
Oh, you know what I'd get rid of?
What?
Sorry. I would get rid of all the special enclosures and these stupid little things. That's what I would get rid of.
Okay, let's save that to the end. I'll put that in at the end. I'll put it back in, like, I'll cut it out. But, so for me, it's a 3. So it's a good game. I really like it. If somebody asked to play it, I would be down. And there might even be times where I'm like, I'm really feeling this game. I want to play it. But I know that you hate it, and for that, and I don't feel the need to keep it or make you play it because I know you dislike it. It's a good game, and I don't feel the need to keep it. I don't feel the need to keep playing it. I've enjoyed it, and I've enjoyed it for what it is, and I think that it's fun. And I completely see why people love this game. I think currently it's rated 7 overall. On Board Game Geek.
Really crappy movies get really high scores on Tomato Meter.
This is not a crappy game, though. Like, this is not a crappy game.
Did I say it was? I was talking about crappy movies.
Okay.
I was just saying you can't believe all reviews. That's the point. That's right. I wish you did that more often.
What would you give this game?
Okay, what's a 1 again? And a 2. Clarify.
What would you give this game for you?
For me?
Tell me what your score is and then tell me what that means to you.
But that's not what we usually rate it on. This game is very closely rated to Cryo for me. It's very much like a 1 or a 2. It's like right in there. Like, if you asked me to play it...
When you rated Cryo 1, you said something was missing from that game that made it fun.
And this game has too much to where it's not fun.
I don't believe that's true for this game.
For me. How dare you? How dare you?
As a man, let me tell you you should score this.
That was why I was curious. I feel like what we usually rate it was would probably be a 2.
Yeah.
But for me, I'd be fine throwing this away and not even trying to sell it.
A 1 to me is a game that's like, there's something inherently wrong with the game. Like, the designers of this game missed something and they screwed up big time for it to be a 1. A 2 is a game that's fine, but you just don't like it. It's just not a game that you would play.
I feel both ways is the thing. I feel like they've really screwed up.
How so?
It's just too many working parts. Like, way too many. Like, there's too many hands in the kitchen, or like it's just too much.
Just because there's too much stuff going on for
there's something wrong with
your brain to process it doesn't mean that somebody else can process it.
You agreed that there was too much happening.
No. I said there's a lot happening. I don't think it's too much at all. I think my biggest con is the cards and the fact that it plays for too long. I wish it ended sooner. I don't think there's too much going on. I don't think there's too much going on at all. I don't think that at all.
There's too much for it to be fun. You said it borders on boring. So yes, there's clearly something wrong.
That's not because...
A board game, I guess it's a board game. But no, board games should not be boring.
You're really going to pull that one out? I remember saying that one as an 8. Mom, I don't want to play board game because I'm bored. There's nothing wrong with... I like how much there's going on. Game.
The more we talk about it, the less I like it. The more I'm picking it apart and dissecting it, I'm like, man, I don't like this game.
But that's okay. This is what it is. A 1, it's a broken game. A 2, personal opinion makes you not like that game.
I'll give it a 2, but in my heart, it's a 1.
I'll tell you it's a 2, but it's really a 1 for me. Take that. It's a 1. That's fine. Heart. That's why I want... You're not bound to my scoring system. No, you make your own scoring system. It's a 1 for you. That's
I'm down to Mikey's board.
Yeah. People are always saying, yo, Mikey, what's your scoring system? So they
why are they from Jersey?
And I'm like, what? Hey, yo, Mikey, what?
Anyways, it's 1,000,000 degrees out here. Okay. Let's finish. I'm so hot.
That's Ark Nova. It's a good game. There's nothing wrong with it. And if you don't like it, you're an idiot. Be sure to comment, like, subscribe.
If I had $1 every time you call me an idiot, I could have divorced you by now.
Comment, like, subscribe. Let us know what you think of Ark Nova if you've played it. Obviously,
don't take it to heart.
Obviously, the majority opinion is that this is one of the best games ever created.
But if you look at culture, the majority is usually wrong.
I would disagree. I would disagree that this is one of the best games ever created. I think it's fun. I think it's very well made. It's very well balanced. Other than the giant deck of cards. But how it goes on. I honestly don't understand why it's climbed up the ranks and why people think it's one of the best games ever created.
Probably because it's nostalgia for
Zoo Tycoon. I can't knock it for that. So like, comment, subscribe, check out other videos, and go out there and show kindness. Thanks for watching. Oh, and the secret to happiness is that you should always